Proposition 62.
Proposition 62. I'm Patrick Baker, by the way. Hello.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi. You may not... I'm a person who's been on this podcast before. I'm not the president of anything. I'm the author of the presidential Dickerbook out by Devastator Press. Carlos, is this how you wanted to start your podcast?
This is absolutely perfect.
Perfect. Fantastic. Thanks for letting me hijack this and become the host of Schmolitics. Carlos and Dan are out this week. I will be handling this from here on forward. All right, let's get right into it.
I think Patrick unplugged my microphone.
Dan Gordon, shut up. Okay, and let's keep going.
62 would replace the death penalty with life in prison without parole, and 66 is to speed up the death penalty.
So we're gonna combine both.
We're going to combine them.
All right, so we have 62, 66.
Whichever one gets more votes wins.
The amount of time it takes to get somebody executed is astronomically long. You're looking at about 20 to 25 years.
Why does it take so long?
Some of that is, first off, just waiting in line for the death penalty in San Quentin. There's also another
That's got to be one of the worst lines to be waiting in.
Yeah,
that's worse than IKEA.
Yeah, it's worth noting that right now, all of our death row inmates all go to San Quentin.
Maybe not on a Saturday. IKEA on a Saturday, just kill me.
It's the worst.
You gentlemen are comparing San Quentin State Prison to IKEA, right?
I bet you they have better furniture.
Yeah.
As you may imagine, a lot of people who get death sentences aren't exactly of means. We don't have a whole lot of Phil Spectors. And to get a public defender that is qualified to go before the California Supreme Court, sometimes it can take 5 years to find that attorney.
So there's a lot of reasons why I can get backed up, and now you're looking at this a very long period of time, multiple decades, where someone that's been sentenced to death is waiting on death row,
yes,
seeking an appeal or just waiting for the execution, and that costs the state a lot of money.
It does, and the result of this has been nearly everybody that gets a death sentence doesn't get executed. I think some numbers are useful. There's something like 930 people that have been put on death row, and then of those people that have been given death sentences, only like 13 of them have been executed. About 1 in 10 end up being excused from the death penalty. Their sentence gets lowered once they are in prison.
So then these two propositions are offering solutions for that problem.
Yes.
Okay.
62 is offering a solution that is stop the death penalty. And then for 66, the idea is to make tweaks to the existing system that should speed up the process of habeas corpus petitions, should speed up the process of finding appellate lawyers, those sorts of things. In 66, there's a few more things going on. So habeas corpus petitions must first be heard in trial courts as opposed to appellate courts. So what would more often happen is the court that you first got your death penalty, that will be where your habeas corpus petition is heard. One reason that's a bad idea is that if there was a mistake in your trial, say the lawyer was ineffective or the jury was inappropriately chosen, why would you go back to the same court where that happened to try and say, hey, there was a mistake? That court has a conflict of interest in saying, oh, you know what, we did mess this up. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You would want to go to a second court to reassess whether or not the first court messed up. There are pros and cons that go in the moral camp and then under what I would argue a fiscally pragmatic camp. You're going to see a lot of people for 66 mentioning that these are the worst of the worst, you know, child rapists, child murderers. They go into specific cases that are pretty grisly. They try and be like, we have to kill these people. But the fact of the matter is that your odds of killing that person under the current system and even under 66's system are still slim. If we are not killing that many people, and we can kind of all agree that killing is not a thing we want to do.
Not a thing.
I personally feel like we can all get on board with saying, so we're fighting really, really hard here to kill 13 people over the course of 20 to 30 years. I don't know what you guys have heard about prison. It sucks. And if you had to live there forever, that's real bad. I've never been to prison, but I've seen The Shawshank Redemption. And from what I can gather, that seems about as bad as dying in a lot of ways. So I'm not convinced that...
I really didn't like that movie.
Yeah, that's
a great movie.
Oh, I thought you meant the movie felt like
you
as
didn't
bad
like
as
the
dying.
movie. Yeah.
No. The prison in the movie.
Oh.
And let's get away from the moral quandary for a second.
Okay.
I want to point out the fiscal impact between 62 and 66. The nonpartisan analysis says definitively that 62 would save us about $150 million a year. The nonpartisan analysis says we may save money with 66. It's unclear, which its own proponents argue in the book that you could save $30 million a year. And that's disputed. Compare that to 150 million if you just scrap the whole thing.
Right.
Patrick, where do you stand on 62 and 66?
I think you should vote yes on 62 and no on 66.
Carlos?
What Patrick said.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised because Carlos and I had this conversation a few weeks ago, which included me referencing Bruce Wayne, saying that he was not happier after killing the Joker. He started to shift a little bit.
Well, it was Patrick, not you.
What did I say that changed your mind?
Everything.
Great.
Yeah.
I also am for 62 and against 66. This also would ensure that an innocent life is not taken by a flawed system of justice. It does not bring us justice by killing people.
Yes, 62.
Yes on 62.
No on 66.
No on 66.
All right.
I really feel like a crappy person when I'm smiling doing that.
I know.
Talking about the death penalty.
Made me feel icky.
Yeah, me too.
No.
All right.
Yes on 62.
Patrick, thank you.
You're very welcome.
No on 66. I felt worse.